That's the state's message to attract people to Nebraska, hoping to fill a growing need for workers. Well, the state is spending $10 million in CARES Act funding on the marketing campaign.
Yeah, people in other states began getting the ads last fall and started sending them to us. And on social media, we saw at least a dozen reaction posts ranging from neutral to downright negative. So is the right message getting through?
KETV News Watch 7's Alexandra Stone takes those questions to the minds behind the campaign.
If you want to be great, start with good.
Touting career opportunities and a low cost of living, the Good Life is Calling campaign seeks to recruit new residents to Nebraska.
Good trails and good air.
Voiced in part by Omaha native comedian Adam Devine, the campaign features scenes from the Sandhills to Omaha, but the reaction online seems to have fallen a little flat. Someone from Chicago tweeting this screenshot of a video featuring dozens of cattle, writing, "What the heck did I Google to get this targeted ad about moving to Nebraska?" And this one from Blake in Wisconsin, who also saw one of the ads, posting, "What have I done to invite this?"
I just thought it was kind of surprising. I've never been, asked to move to some state by the state. So
Blake and his wife are raising their children outside Milwaukee. They're from Wisconsin and don't plan on leaving. His wife is a pharmacist, and he says their impression of Governor Ricketts during the pandemic would likely keep them away.
I also know the governor and his administration have picked a few fights with healthcare workers and public health officials in the state of Nebraska over the last couple of years. So given that my wife works in healthcare, that's not all that appealing for us.
KETV News Watch 7 learned the ads are going all the way to Atlanta. Amy lives there with her husband and their young daughter and saw this.
I can't quite figure out what the message is or who the targeted demographic is.
Amy's from the Northeast and her husband is from Chicago. So even if they did move, she says Nebraska wouldn't make sense for them.
That ad certainly wouldn't plant the seed in my mind either. If anything, it would be a turnoff because it's so confusing.
We took these sentiments to the people behind the campaign. Anthony Goins, Nebraska's Economic Development Director, and Clint Runge, CEO of Arch Rival, the company paid to create the campaign. We asked them about the ad in Atlanta.
The idea behind that ad and many others is that Nebraska offers a very unique balance that we call the good life, which is all the things you want to achieve in your career, your business, right? As well as all the things that you want to keep for your personal life, your family. Here you can have the best of both worlds.
Runge says they're targeting people aged 22 to 45. They've enlisted the help of influencers, from Nebraskans sharing stories of their own good life on social media to out-of-staters with large followings who were invited for a weekend in Lincoln. That group includes Seattle-based professional athlete Norris Frederick.
We're going to the game. It's going to be pretty cool.
Runge says they want to challenge perceptions of Nebraska, though we were curious how ads featuring cornfields and cattle do that.
I'm glad you've asked this question because it's something I thought a lot about. We want to share what Nebraska actually is. We don't want to create a false narrative. It's all the great things that we actually are.
Nebraska isn't the only state trying to recruit people, though. Ohio is running ads promoting its lower taxes and cost of living. And a group in Arkansas has a similar campaign and is offering a $10,000 cash incentive. In fact, I recently started seeing sponsored posts on Instagram trying to entice me to move to Delaware.
That's exactly why Runge and Goins say Nebraska has to be part of the conversation.
This is a national challenge. And so what we're doing is we're fighting for our place. If we're not engaged in this conversation, we will ultimately lose.
In fact, Goins says with between 50 and 80,000 open jobs on a given day, the state needs to recruit people to stay competitive.
Even if we retain every college graduate, we were able to, ramp up the retention, the math still won't allow us to fill all of these jobs. People have to move here for us to be successful.
Despite some confusion and even criticism online, Runge believes the good life will bring people to Nebraska, and the state hopes that's true.
It is really a campaign designed to tell the world that Nebraska's here.
Arch Rival believes the campaign is succeeding with 33 million video views and more than 220,000 ad clicks. They admit it's hard to know exactly how many people will move to Nebraska because of this campaign, but they're tracking changes in postal codes and communicating with moving companies about patterns. The company says one of the target areas they've seen the most success with are called roots returners, people who are from Nebraska or spent significant time here and see the campaign as essentially a call to come home. home. Alexandra Stone, KETV Newswatch 7.